Good evening. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show. We're broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ, as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer news stories have reached over 10 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ+ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It's Tuesday, May 13th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. We present Pride Fete in August and Pride Fort Lauderdale in February. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leader anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ community. So let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome the hardest working lesbian in town, Cindy Brown. Cindy was an early organizer of the Miami AIDS Walk and the White Party for Care Resource. She's the program director for the Lambda Living program at Jewish Community Services, and she also served as the founding executive director of Miami Beach Pride. Cindy, the LGBTQ Elders Awareness Day celebration is May 16th. Tell us what's happening.
Well, this is exciting. It's coming up this Friday, and Lambda Living, along with the Alliance for Aging, Pride Lines, and SAGE, are hosting this day of celebration and connection, and we will be honoring the wisdom and resilience of our LGBTQ elders. This is the 2nd annual conference and will include a keynote panel, workshops, meditation, and more. The event is from 11 to 3:30 at the Scott Galvin Community Center in North Miami, and lunch will be provided. You can register for a free ticket at pridelines.org. Now, we're really excited about this because, LGBT seniors are invisible a lot of the time. So we're creating this opportunity for folks to come together, have social interaction, learn a few things, have some fun, and spend a day together. So
nice.
This is the 2nd year, so we're excited about it.
Now, I want to know, how do you get to be an LGBTQ senior?
You live.
Okay. Well, because I'm just worried because I know that I don't fit that category because it said wisdom and resilience.
The celebrating of others' wisdom and resilience, maybe not yours.
That does have a nice ring to it. Mm-hmm. Wisdom and resilience of our LGBTQ elders. Or that could just be my tinnitus. But seriously, as an elder, it's heartening to know we are valued and that there is appreciation and recognition from the community. So gracias.
And without those older folks, we wouldn't have a Queer News Tonight. I've been an activist for 30 plus years, but I stand on these folks' shoulders. I mean, I'm kind of a senior-ish, but you know, there are so many folks that are just invisible, and so we're really happy to do this again for the second year.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about it.
Celebrate them. That's great. That's the big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the second annual LGBTQ Elders Awareness Day conference on May 16th. Let's welcome anchor Angel Martinez. Angel's a passionate mental health advocate and policy change enthusiast from Miami. A proud Cuban Nicaraguan American, he champions LGBTQIA+ causes and the Stonewall movement with humor, drive, and a fierce dedication to justice. Angel, the Wilton Manors Art Walk is doing something new on May 17th. Tell me, what's happening?
Yeah, Ty. So, as the busy season comes to an end in South Florida, the Wilton Manors Art Walk is celebrating their final event until the fall with a special new installation on Saturday, May 17th. So in addition to all of the amazing local artists you can normally find, this art walk will also feature a special interactive art installation. A special mural made of stretched cellophane will be set up to allow everyone to participate as they spray paint their own elements onto the community created image. There will also be a special wearable art fashion show happening during the event. Both of these special features will be held at the Art Walk Wilton Manors location at 2435 North Dixie Highway starting at 6:30 p.m.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, I love that. I love that we're doing more of this like community-centered art, community participatory art. I think that's a really great thing.
Yeah, it brings people together and all kinds of different people. I remember last year when the Stonewall Museum did the recreation of it, and
the riot,
and everybody was represented there, and this art walk is creating the same kind of community atmosphere, and I think it's fantastic.
But I do get sad when the Wilton Manors Art Walk comes to a close.
Yeah, but it gets
I
too
wish it
hot,
was year-round. Oh, babies, come on, it's not that hot.
I like the, just like the spray paint too. It's kind of like interactive,
Yeah, that's it, interactive.
Yeah, just, so that, people can, kind of talk, and then art, I think it should be more interactive, right? Like, these events, just to, celebrate, fun with friends.
Absolutely.
Fun with friends, that's
love
it.
Yeah,
well,
I like
that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to the final art walk of the season and the special exhibits on May 17th. Next, let's welcome anchor Greg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Greg's an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of regional LGBTQ publications and websites. Greg, there's a special Pride brunch on June 1st. Tell me what's happening.
The countdown is on to Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Hollywood's Drag Brunch, presented by Can Community Health at the Hard Rock Event Center at 1 p.m. on Sunday, June 1st, to benefit the Pride Center at Equality Park. The highlight of the event will be a drag show featuring Christopher Peterson from Aquaplex Key West, Michael Dean as Cher, Daisy Dead Petals, Velvet Lenore, Erica Norell, and Alia J. There will also be raffles, a prize balloon pop, and more. You can get more information and tickets at pridecenterflorida.org. But once I figure out what a balloon pop is, I just want to say that a drag brunch to benefit the Pride Center at Equality Park on June 1st, I can't think of a better way to kick off my birthday week.
Well, happy early birthday.
That's when that'll be, yes.
Right.
Star-studded lineup and brunch fixings too sounds fab. And what is a balloon pop? Anybody?
Well, I know what a balloon pop is, and the last time I participated in one was at the Hard Rock. So it's, instead of like a silent auction or something, you buy like balloons, and there are a bunch of prizes on a table, and they have numbers on them. So you buy however many balloons you want, and then you pop the balloon to find out what number is inside, And the number of the prize it matches, that's the prize you get. So it's like a mystery. You never know, you know.
Okay.
So, but they're a lot of fun, and everything inside, you know, all the prizes are
Do you remember
good.
what you won?
Oh, I won like a spa package at the Hard Rock. I won some cologne. You know, I won a bunch of different stuff, but I can't remember everything because I can't remember
One
everything.
person is like a raffle, right?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different components, but there's a lot of prizes. But the drag brunch is amazing. You know, I love that organizations are getting away from these gala dinners.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so tired to go out and listen to hours of speeches till, you know, 11 o'clock at night. So the brunch I love. I can go and have the rest of my day
And I can watch Daisy make a fool of herself and have a great time.
Exactly.
Oh,
I love her shows. That's a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing, and Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Pride Drag Brunch on June 1st.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Dr. Ty Howser. He's a professor of English and Humanities at Broward College and Florida Atlantic University. Ty, the Stonewall Museum is celebrating 55 years of Pride. Tell us what's happening.
Absolutely. The Stonewall National Museum and Archives and Library is celebrating a special 55 Years of Pride exhibition from June 1st through August 31st. The immersive exhibition celebrates the resilience, courage, and contributions of the LGBTQ plus community globally over the past 55 years. 55 Years of Pride presents a vibrant tapestry of stories that have not only shaped the fight for equality, dignity, and visibility in the United States, but have sparked movements across continents. You can find out more at stonewall-museum.org. And aren't we just absolutely lucky to have the Stonewall Museum and Library here. They just do such great work. I hope that we all get out to this because it's a month.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for Stonewall, we wouldn't know our history. Right. Nobody teaches our history. It's up to us to make sure we keep our history alive. And, you know, every month I give to Stonewall. So I encourage people to become donors.
Yeah.
I
mean, you know, I'm volunteering there on Thursday, right?
Oh, wonderful.
It's, you know, it's very easy to do, right? Like, they're always looking for volunteers. They're always looking for, you know, people to help out with the events. And really the training is not that, you know, extensive. You know, they do need volunteers, right? They're always looking for volunteers in addition to the donations.
And how much are you learning?
You learn a lot.
You
learn a lot. You know, the museum, it's here to Fort Lauderdale. It's, you know, it's close. You know, it's, and I mean, if you have materials too that you want to archive, they're always looking for books, you know, CDs, you know, videos, stuff that can be archived into their museum.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I have a music collection that I've donated.
I donate my Sinister Wisdom books and Lesbian Connection magazines. Yeah.
Well, the official anniversary date of the country's first gay pride parade, or march, is June 28th,
Yes.
1970, with an estimated 3,000 to 5,000 attendants in New York, which is amazing. While other pride parades did start in June, and then in Chicago and San Francisco. But wherever you are on Saturday, June 28th, 2025, take a moment to celebrate this momentous occasion and check out that exhibit.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the 55 Years of Pride exhibition starting June 1st.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Ty Howser. Let's queer up business. Target is quiet on Pride Month 2025. Here's what we know and what we don't know. Target has continued to scale back on their support of Pride in response to Donald Trump's attack on DEI initiatives. In January, they announced the end of their Racial Equity Action and Change REACH initiative. They also have discontinued their participation in LGBTQ-related events, having ended their long history of support and participation in Minnesota's Twin Cities Pride. The company has also stopped participation in diversity-focused research, including the HRC's Corporate Equality Index survey. This year's Pride merchandise has been limited to alcoholic offerings and pet toys. That's right, drunk pets, with a complete removal of clothing and other gifts. As people protest the rollback in support of diversity, Target has seen a 21% decline in income over last year, and foot traffic in stores is significantly down every week since the anti-DEI announcement. Will Target prove that if you end DEI, your company will face dire results? Costco and other like retailers who have stayed with shareholder support DEI embracement have actually grown in the same time period of Target's decline. I don't know. Target's breaks my heart. Like, I really thought for a long time that they were on our team.
Yeah.
Now I don't know where to shop.
Right. Well, I think that this, and it's not just the queer community that stopped, shopping at Target. A lot of other people have stopped shopping there, and actions have consequences. And when you start allowing discrimination, Costco, I've always loved Costco as a corporation because I believe their corporate responsibility level is very high. They pay their employees well. They don't pay the CEO hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Actions have consequences.
Well, but vote with your dollars, right? And that's kind of what we're doing, and it's having an impact at Target, at least.
Well, Target's scheduled to open a new store at the sort of the northern end of Fort Lauderdale, but I wonder if the recent boycotts will have an impact on this, the future of this new location. They're going to still go ahead with it.
So that index, right, the Corporate Equality Index, that's big. Because you can look up any company now,
right? Most corporations are in there.
Most of the corporations, the Fortune 500 companies are in that index. And I looked at Target, because the HRC website, they do have
links to it.
You can put in the company you're looking for, right? If you were concerned, right, just to say, hey, does the company I'm shopping at, does it support the LGBTQ plus community? The HRC Corporate Equality Index, actually, you can search up the name of the company. So this is where shopping with your dollars, right? Like if you have a company in mind, and you were curious.
Check it out first.
It's good. That on the, I looked up, because they have their criteria.
Right.
And two of the major criteria that Target, really, it was the corporate social responsibility and the supporting, responsible citizenship. So, it's unfortunate, right? We have that rollback now.
But at least we see it and we know it. Yeah. And Target knows that we see it and we know it.
Paying for it.
And it might be an example. So,
we'll see. That's a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Cindy Brown, and let's queer up lesbians and queer women. Queer parents find hope on TikTok thanks to the lesbian Mr. Rogers. For many LGBTQ people, the thought of having a family seems out of reach. The thought of finding the time for a job, a spouse, kids, and domestic responsibilities can sound overwhelming. That's why teacher and social media influencer Jerry Chang shares her life in a hilarious and educational way to her over 2 million followers on TikTok. Chang is a full-time teacher for neurodivergent children and holds degrees in teaching, ESOL, and applied linguistics. She uses her experience with kids and her family in a humorous way to show others that balancing work and family life is possible. Her wholesome and funny videos have caused her to earn the moniker the lesbian Mr. Rogers. Her wife also frequently makes appearances in her videos. A popular series includes her wife's frequent pranking her with funny packed lunches, like one video where her wife removed oranges from their peels, then put a couple blueberries inside the peels instead. In an interview, she explained how she manages the balance, saying, quote, "I'll edit during lunch at school, and when I get home, I put the phone down, go on a bike ride with my kids, don't get on the phone, and give them the weekends." Things like that. I think this is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, having relatable people talking about, you know, raising their families, and you know, that's the gay agenda. We want to be able to raise our families and live our lives with our partners. That's right. And I just think this is awesome. And Jerry, good for you.
Absolutely. I love the idea of the lesbian Mr. Rogers.
Exactly. Yeah.
A beautiful day in the neighborhood for sure.
Absolutely.
You know, who says lesbians are humorless?
Right. You know, it's funny.
Cute prank. And this is a quote from her bio on her website, which says, quote, "Wherever Jerry Chang is, so is a room full of laughter and the feeling of sanctuary," end quote. I mean, that is
very yeah. You know, it's funny because when I get home from work, I sit in my chair, I take off my work shoes, and I put on my house shoes. And every time I do that, I think of Mr. Rogers doing that.
Do you have a cardigan?
I don't do the cardigan.
We'll get you a cardigan.
I just change my shoes. So
just to add, Cindy, yeah, like the gay agenda. I mean, completely, I agree. Like, you know,
yeah, we just want to.
Members of the community, we have kids, or members of the community have kids. And, you know, we have all types of family models, right? Like, it's so good to have that wholesome, you know, family fun, you know, and to associate our community with families. Because, you know, sometimes we don't get the portrayal and.
Right. I mean, we are everywhere. Like the bumper sticker I had in the 80s said.
Sure.
Not all just bars and sluts.
Yeah.
That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Angel Martinez, and let's queer up gay culture. So, gay Facebook user weighs in on what makes a guy unattractive. A member of the Facebook group, Gay and Fabulous, recently asked what instantly makes a man unattractive. Hundreds of group members answered, with the top answer being simply voting Republican. Not a surprise there. You know, most users suggested traits like being manipulative, being a control freak, treating others poorly, or lacking empathy. Smoking was also a very popular listed turnoff. Pet lovers also made it clear that, you know, not liking animals was a deal breaker. One thing was clear: good looks can only take you so far if you have a bad personality. So, I mean, I agree with, you know, everyone, right? Like, I looked up, just like the Log Cabin Republicans, right? You know, it's a group, right, of, you know, gay Republicans. And, you know, I understand that our community is vast. We have different, political spectrums, right? But, you know, you look at just the bills that are being passed, you look at, you know, just like where the bills are being passed, like in the red states, right? And I see why so many people, you know, don't want to date Republicans.
Yeah, well, do you have a turnoff, Greg?
Leaving my house. But I do have to agree with voting Republican and still smoking in 2025. And not liking animals being deal breakers. Those are definitely turnoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I can answer as far as women are concerned, but smoking is a big deal for me. Absolutely. But also littering or being mean to service workers.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
That is, you know, because that tells you a lot more about somebody than just that they did that.
Yeah.
So.
And, we can't all be Angel and be good looking and have a great personality.
Yeah, Angel.
That's the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Greg Shapiro. Let's queer up health. Dr. Oz becomes the head of Medicare and Medicaid, immediately targets LGBTQ. TV personality and former surgeon Dr. Mehmet Oz was sworn in as administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services last month. On April 11th, just a week prior to his swearing in, Dr. Oz announced that he would make sure that Medicare would not pay for gender reassignment surgeries or hormone treatments in minors. Before becoming a Republican candidate for U.S. Senate in 2022, Oz had previously supported gender-affirming care for youth. In 2021, Oz had hosted a special episode of his show featuring the importance of pronouns, and had even had Jazz Jennings on his show as a guest in 2015, where he complimented her mother for supporting her transitioning. That's in stark comparison to his actions after being confirmed, when he directed state Medicaid agencies to stop funding gender-affirming care. In an official CMS statement, he said, quote, "Medicaid dollars are not to be used for gender reassignment surgeries or hormone treatments in minors, procedures that can cause permanent irreversible harm, including sterilization," end quote. While Dr. Oz was one of more than 400 Republican leaders who signed a letter urging the Senate to pass the Respect for Marriage Act, his inconsistent stance that seems to pander to ratings over science has many in the queer community scared for their health. I think like Oz is a perfect name for him. Like, pay no attention to that moron behind the curtain. And let me say, this is all fucking Oprah's fault. He had a nasty habit of introducing us to the most detestable people. Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil. I think Nate Berkus may be the one exception to her unfavorable track record.
Well, it's just astounding that people are being put into positions that really have no business
Absolutely.
being in those positions.
No.
And, again, people are going to die. And that's the bottom line. People are going to die because these people who drank the Kool-Aid are bowing to pressure.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's like what you reported in the story, Greg. It's definitely pandering. Like, that's who he is. He is a panderer.
Right.
Yes.
And he's pandering to the biggest grifter around.
Yes.
And it's upsetting and it's sad and yeah, people are going to get hurt.
I mean, the Trevor Project, it estimates that, it's 1.8 million LGBTQ plus young people, right? They seriously consider suicide each year. So, gender affirming medical care, right? According to the Trevor Project, it is associated with positive mental health outcomes. So really, you're affecting trans kids. This is not good for members of our community, especially, members of our community with kids, that are trans, right? They're the ones that are going to be suffering from this, When we have someone like a state official, a government official, an elected government, well, it's not elected, but, an appointed government.
Someone in a position of power.
Yeah.
A decision maker.
Yeah. He's a hypocrite who took a Hippocratic oath.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, it's unfortunate, right? Like, why does Trump put people like these controversial political figures in positions of powers? I have no idea, but
They're his friends. They're all
Yeah.
TV
There's a
celebrities
quid
like
pro
him.
quo somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, that's a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Ty Howser. Let's queer up sports ball! As queer identities become political, will the gay games survive? The 2030 Gay Games had appeared to be in high demand as many cities were originally in the running to host the international LGBTQ sporting event. Auckland, one of the top 3 finalists to host the games, has recently dropped out. That leaves only Perth, Australia, and Denver, Colorado as possible hosts to the games. Many attribute the difficulty in finding a host to polarized political views. Others point out that the event isn't a large enough draw on its own for cities to see a return on investment. Other, more affordable events like the Sin City Classic in Las Vegas or the Hurricane Roundup in Fort Lauderdale have become ways for sports-minded queer people to meet up. Many former gay games have drawn large crowds, but some point to the fact that those were hosted in cities that are some of the most visited in the world. Paris, New York, Amsterdam, and Sydney top that list. The 2026 games in Valencia, Spain may prove some insight into how far the queer community is willing to travel for sports. I would travel to Spain to see the gay games. Mm-hmm. I would have my own gay games in Spain.
Those are different games, right?
In the early 90s, the gay games were in New York. Mm-hmm. And I played tennis in the gay games and lost in the first round. But it was fun. It was like the opening ceremonies, and it was very, very cool. But as a big event producer, these are extremely expensive
money losers.
events.
Yeah, I mean, the Chicago Gay Games,
I
think was in the early to mid 2000s, was catastrophic financially.
Yeah.
So, and that's a big city, like these other ones they mentioned. Yeah. So, yay, sports ball.
No, I looked at parallels to like the Olympics, right? Mm-hmm. It's happened to the same at the Olympics, right? It's infrastructure, it's the venues, it's everything, all the associated costs, and I think the cities are looking at like, the gay games as like, well, will this return our investment? I don't know what would be the sentiment on just the LGBTQ plus community, but I can see how the cost would be a thing.
Yeah, and I know in other countries the cities primarily support the events coming, but that's not how it is in the United States. I mean, not even the cities, but the government of these other countries will pay to make it happen for PR. But in the United States, you got to get corporate donors and grants, and corporate donors are pulling out a Pride event. So this is it's gonna be very difficult.
Well, I hope that the gay games survive. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Just in what form and in which city?
Exactly.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ and ally community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family and join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Ty Howser, and on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Cindy Brown, Angel Martinez, and Greg Shapiro. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ world. We hope you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, be transformative, and my favorite bit, queer. Good night.